In the kingdom of Illyria, where emerald forests stretched for miles and majestic mountains kissed the sky, there lived a queen named Althea. She was known throughout the land not only for her beauty, but for her wisdom and strength. Under her rule, the kingdom prospered. The people adored her, and the nobles respected her. Althea had always been a fair and just queen, believing that her people's welfare came before anything else. Her reign was peaceful, and the kingdom flourished in every aspect, from trade to culture. Althea had come to the throne at a young age after the untimely death of her father, King Aldrich. The people had feared the transition, but Althea quickly proved that age did not define a ruler's strength. Her father had been loved, but Althea's vision was even grander. She understood the needs of the people and made the difficult decisions when needed. She was a beacon of hope for her subjects, and they followed her with unwavering loyalty. She was married to King Aleron, a man from a neighboring kingdom, who was as powerful as he was charming. Their union was one of both love and diplomacy, solidifying peace between the two kingdoms. The marriage was celebrated across the land, and the people believed that their queen and king were a perfect match. The couple ruled side by side, their relationship always appearing harmonious. But beneath the surface of their perfect partnership, Althea held a secret that would one day bring everything she cherished crashing down. For years, Althea had loved her people above all else. But there was one thing she could never give them: an heir. The kingdom needed a prince or a princess, someone to continue the royal bloodline and ensure the future of Illyria. Althea's inability to conceive weighed heavily on her, and while she tried to remain composed in public, in the privacy of her chambers, she felt a deep sense of failure. The pressure was immense, and rumors began to spread. Some whispered that Aleron was the one unable to produce and care, while others suggested that the queen herself was cursed. The whispers grew louder as the years passed, but no matter how much Althea wished, she could not give the kingdom the one thing they desired most: a child. As time went on, Althea grew more desperate. She sought the counsel of the kingdom's wisest healers and shamans, searching for any solution to her problem. One day, an old sorceress, who had long been banished from the kingdom for her mysterious practices, appeared at the palace gates. She claimed that she had the power to grant Althea what she so desperately wanted: a child. But there was a price to be paid, a price that was unknown to Althea at the time. Desperation clouded her judgment, and in a moment of weakness, she accepted the sorceress's offer. The sorceress warned her that the child would come, but there would be consequences, ones that Althea could not foresee. The queen, desperate for a child, dismissed the warning. After all, what was a price if it meant fulfilling the kingdom's greatest need? What harm could come from one small secret agreement? The sorceress's magic worked. Soon after, Althea found herself pregnant, much to the delight of the kingdom. The news spread like wildfire, and the people rejoiced. The queen, who had once been seen as incomplete, was now on the brink of becoming the mother the kingdom had longed for. The king, too, was elated. But as the months passed, Althea's happiness began to turn to fear. Strange things began to happen in the palace. At night, she would hear whispers in the corridors, whispers that sent shivers down her spine. Her dreams were filled with images of a child, a beautiful child, but one whose eyes were cold and calculating. And as her belly grew, so did her unease. There were moments when she felt as though she were no longer in control of her own body, as though the child within her was not hers to command. The day came when Althea gave birth to a son, a healthy, beautiful boy. He was everything she had ever dreamed of: a perfect child with dark eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of centuries. But from the moment the child was born, Something felt wrong. The sorceress's warning echoed in her mind. There will be consequences. Althea did not immediately understand what that meant. She held her son in her arms, marveling at the tiny hands that grasped her fingers. Aliron, too, was overjoyed. The birth of their son brought peace to the kingdom. But as the years passed, the child grew in a way that no one could have predicted. He was brilliant beyond measure, but there was an unnatural coldness about him. While other children laughed and played, he remained quiet, his thoughts always distant. He was a prodigy, a genius, but his heart seemed empty. His eyes were always calculating, as if he were forever plotting something. As the prince grew, Althea's fears intensified. She began to notice that the people around her were changing too. The kingdom, which had once flourished under her rule, was slowly descending into darkness. Crops began to fail, traders became fearful, and strange illnesses began to spread throughout the land. Althea had worked tirelessly to build a kingdom of peace and prosperity. But now, everything seemed to be crumbling before her eyes. She turned to her husband, King Aliron, for guidance. Together they tried to find a solution, but the efforts were in vain. The kingdom's problems only worsened, and Althea's son, Prince Elias, seemed to be at the center of it all. Rumors began to spread that he had made a pact with dark forces, that his brilliance came at a terrible cost. Althea, in her desperation, confronted her son, but he only gave her a cold smile and spoke in riddles. He was untouchable, and Althea began to realize the full extent of her betrayal. The price she had paid for a child, for a son to secure the future of her kingdom, had come at a devastating cost. Her son was not a gift from the heavens, but a curse that she had unknowingly embraced. He was not of her flesh, not of her heart, but of dark magic that had twisted him into something unnatural. In the depths of her despair, Althea made the hardest decision of her life. She would take matters into her own hands and stop the destruction that her son had brought upon her kingdom. She knew that the only way to save her people was to rid them of the evil that had infiltrated the throne. But the moment she tried to take action, she realized the full scope of her betrayal. Elias, now a powerful and cunning young man, turned on her. He used the very magic that had been the source of his strength to strip her of her power. In that moment, Althea understood that she had created a monster, one who would stop at nothing to achieve his own goals, even if it meant destroying the very kingdom she had worked so hard to build. Her betrayal had come full circle. In her quest for a child to secure her legacy, she had unknowingly birthed the downfall of everything she loved. Elias, now king, ruled with an iron fist, his cold eyes reflecting the darkness that had consumed him. The kingdom of Eloria, once prosperous and peaceful, now lay in ruins, a shadow of its former self. And so, Queen Althea, the once beloved ruler, was left to wander the halls of the palace that had once been her home. She had sacrificed everything for his son, for the future of her people, and in the end, her betrayal had cost her everything. The kingdom was lost, and with it, the love of her people.